Hello, I'm Teresa Lepre Rivera. Everything that we're going to discuss today is going to shake some people. Some people, they're going to ignore it. Some people are going to think that this is non existent. We live in a world that we take no responsibility for. And the reason we don't take no responsibility for the world that we live in is because the mass population is enslaved and indoctrinated into the mindset of serving people that we think are higher than we are. It's a real slave thing going on this planet. And at the center of it is the elites, the governments, entertainment industry, corporations, anyone who does not believe in a universal principle and causes mankind to default into the big black pit. Religion is at the top of this list. And if we only stop to think, we will see and we could feel just how enslaved we really have become, why free thinking, unique design for each and every one of us is essential now in this era of history, why you need to go back to ancient times and to understand how the ancients built civilizations, had divine gifts, used humanity, which would be us, why there was a split, there were wars that continued, and why it trickles down right here. So, drug addiction, mental addiction, things that we do not want to face are happening as we are saying there are great a great many of us who are awakened. What are we awakened to when these things are going on? Pedophilia at the top of the list. Understanding why when we introduced our history and our origins, that there is a difference between religion and consciousness. The world leaders kill in the name of religion, but they never lift your consciousness, because if they lift your consciousness, then you will be aware of just how dirty the deeds are on this planet. We accept presidents that have sons and daughters that are accused of horrific crimes, and they participate in debaucherism that causes children to have no life. And that's all over, and that's common play. We don't address that because we are enslaved to those people. And actually, it's right out in the open, and they are telling us we can't do nothing about it. But they fear us. And if they didn't fear us, they wouldn't use devices and mind games to keep us in line. Because you see, everyone thinks in the spiritual community, or in the community that is Christian, or in a community that is godly, or in a community that thinks that they are entitled, that they came here because their tribe was superior to the human race, right? To the human race. But the truth of the matter is the human race was enslaved, and our origins, if we look at it, is not easy to digest. But those very same divine beings or divine entities that you believe in, that you believe structured us, also created within us a consciousness that could overcome their standards. And we can overcome their standards. Because from the beginning of time, what started out in a way that was supposed to be glorified within a growthful community turned into greed and lust and all kinds of sins in between. And what's hidden in mankind now is a cancer that has reached every level. And if you want to break out of bondage, you have to rise up within your own communities, within your own heart structure. Stop lying to yourselves. You lie to yourself on every level. And I am not saying that as someone who is superior. I am saying that as someone who has transformed and is very humble now, but is very strong and is very in tune with her surroundings, what's going on in society, and how human beings treat one another, and they are in subjugation of world leaders, elite powers that do not care for you. So what's the rise and the fall? If you want to go back to ancient Sumerian, who took gratitude for their creation and felt humble to help humanity grow and develop this consciousness and just develop this longevity. Because you see, that's what we're always seeking, the longevity, why we should extend life, why our immortality here and wherever we should travel means something. But we don't do that here because we die in the flesh, because you know what? The same entities that exist in goodness also exist in evilness. So if you look at it, if you look at Satan and God, if you look at heaven and hell, if you're looking at gods versus gods, like in brothers or brothers and sisters, because the female had very, very, very large amounts of lands and structures that she developed. She was a doctor. She was a keeper of the land. You have to go back. This is not me just talking. These are things that can be proven, and that's really what happens in humanity. You're very lazy. I understand that because at one time I was lazy, right? Because we have to develop and we have to really go out there and put ourselves on a limb. And in order to put ourselves on a limb, we have to turn around and we have to ask these very hard questions. So who's saving you? Is the government saving you? While you're scrambling to live day to day and your emotions are so high and low that you are existing in a world that you cannot make heads or tails of? Is your God saving you that you are confused who to pray to? Because the gods that rule religion, and it's one God, right? A universal God, their devotees kill in the name of that God. So is there righteousness there? Or are we fighting the gods? Do we even know God? Are we so desperate for love because this is who we want to remember, that we can't admit that we were treated less than loving, but we have the potential to love and to diffuse any God that is out there? And I'm not talking about the supreme being, although we have to connect with a divineness that helps us out of this bondage. You have people drinking blood. You have people killing children. You have people that are falling through the cracks. You have mentally ill. You have people that are violent. You have people that think that they're enslaved for color, creed, and race. Meanwhile, we're all enslaved, but we can't see it because we loot to think we're better than people. That's not true. Why aren't we being heard? Because the media is controlled. The people that are influencers don't want to have a conversation that is honest and real. They rather hear what the hot 10 new, how do I even say it? I don't even know how to say it. What the hot 10 new programs are going to be, because everything is a program, whether it's makeup, whether it's getting fit, whether it's, going to be an entertainer, all these things they are put in your head through influences. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that we should maintain the body. I think that there are things that can be done to keep us intact, like a shedding process. I'm not opposed of any of those things, because that would make sense in the human body to have to fine tune, like maintenance, like you take your car for an oil change. But this nonsense that's going on and the shame of it all is caused by human beings. And human beings, without leadership and without realizing the slaves that we really are, no matter what your color is, girlfriend or boyfriend, no matter who you think you are in any community, you're a slave to the system just like everybody else. And in order to get out of it, you would have to understand how the gods think, why the God that you would call Satan or evil or a reptile, etc., so on, really has no use for human beings. Why a compassionate God that you would call creator of all the universe does have compassion, but they're fighting their own wars and their own wars or causing destruction on this planet. And if it's up to us to develop what we have, and you could do it in style and grace and be cool and still hold your boundaries, what are you waiting for? You're traumatized in a bubble. And again, I'm here to help you out of bondage, because all of you in your own way helped me out of bondage, because the very observance of it all and the very developing of the mind can help you overcome the enslavement that is upon humanity. Y'all want your due? Y'all think that people have to pay? Y'all think that your consciousness is above all and this is how you do it? I've seen some of y'all do your thing in general in life. I see how desperate people are for attention. I see the things that are outrageously entertaining, but very, very sad on many levels, on all platforms of social media. I see how people want to fit in and are lost. Then I see the few that have the spark and say, hey, wait a minute. I'm here to help you in glory. I'm here to help you understand why we are enslaved. And please, sister and brothers out there that really have a gift but want to be so noticed, stop it. What good is your Mandela showing up on your body and your downloads and your divine, unique design if you're so desperate to turn around and always seek attention first? Say the truth. Civilizations came here, and that would be the Anunnaki, that would be the Greys, that would be the Lemurians, and they pitted wars against one another. And the good outweighed the bad, and destruction came upon this earth, and ancient civilizations do exist, and all those things that are throughout this planet, which are pyramids, which are portals, they are actually from ancient civilizations that have a divine tool to help humanity. But humanity was a slave from the beginning. That's why you were shielded. That's why you could not rise above, because you were too busy sorting for yourself. But when you figure the code and when you figure the keys and you understand the strength of mind and what love really is, maybe you're not here to be the loving person you thought you were, or that love pours out of and you remember what love is, because we weren't created as a tool to serve. But maybe because we have that divine spark of love. And if we let that love grow before we let the seed of evil dwell in us, then that's what the gods fear. And that is a key. So I'm going to ask you to share this out. This is a testing video. I'm testing equipment. I'm testing lighting. I'm testing how you all feel about this. Religion is a lie. The three religious powers of this world are lies, because they took what was good and they tainted it for their own purposes. And humanity that kills in the name of that one God and can't see how enslaved you really are, because you really do believe it's that one God that you were serving, that is going to save you. And I feel for you there, and you can be saved. You killing in that name of one God. Go back, they're just different names. And all those who say in Judaism that you follow one God, yes, that might be true. But you have too many sectors, and you disrupted what it is to be a true tribe of the universe. So we are going to talk more about this. We are absolutely going to get deeper as it goes. Sometimes you have to stand alone in order to stand together. But if you keep lying to yourself, and if you keep listening to the falsified prophets that are before you, you will definitely continue to loop. Risa is where mind meets soul, and the challenges are many, but to forge ahead can be done. And if someone else could have it, why can't you have it? Why can't you have it? You can't have it because you're too busy waiting for somebody else to give it to you. Don't do that. Rise above that and work together.